All of creation waits with eager for God to reveal His sons, for creation was condemned to lose its purpose, not of its own will, but because God willed it to be so. Yet there was the hope that creation itself would one day be set free from its slavery and would share the glorious freedom of the sons of God. For we know that up to the present time all of creation groans as we wait for God to make us His sons and to set our whole being free. For it was by hope that we were saved. But if we see what we hope for, then it is not really hope. But if we hope for what we do not see, we wait for it with patience. Now let us read Romans chapter 8 from 26 to 28 in all languages we're able. In the same way, the Spirit also comes to help us, weak as we are. For we do not know how we ought to pray. The Spirit Himself pleads with God for us in groans that words cannot express. And God, who sees into our hearts, knows that the thought of the Spirit is, because the Spirit pleads with God on behalf of His people and in accordance with His will. We know that in all things God works for good with those who love Him, those who has called according to His purpose. Amen. So what do we know? We know that God, Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, makes good for all who love Him. Are we those who love Him? Of course we are. Come to our meetings and you will see who love Him more. Someone is speaking his nose with a love to God, but others are dancing, worshipping, and singing without stopping. Some of them are doing all these things and waving with a flag and blowing the shofar besides. Most of them are doing it to show their love to God because they want that everybody could see their love to God. We don't need to go to the fire today as it had been before, when some God lovers were burnt in the fire. But you can come to the meeting once a week to dance and to rejoice. You can join to the church, and we are very grateful to our God for it. We are gathering in this church in the internet to listen to the God's word, to have revelations from the Holy Spirit, to get the powerful Spirit energy in order to crush the fiery crowns of lowliness in our life. God puts His seals on the foreheads of His slaves today. Who are those getting the seal of the Holy Spirit? Which people have got the God's letters on their foreheads? First of all, these are the people loving their God. You will recognize them among the others quite easily. They love God truly. They are remaining in His word, prayer, singing. They are rejoiced when going to the worship ministry. They do not miss it. They do not leave the service. They are true in their donations and praying to be able to give more and more for the kingdom. They are praying for the kingdom's growth. They do not condemn or make scandals, but they have the God's genome of Ruach HaKodesh through the high priest Yeshua HaMashiach, who baptizes with the Holy Spirit and the fire. The Ruach HaKodesh is sent to teach and to remind us about the things that people have forgotten. It's His service. The light will be sick if we forget important revelations. On the contrary, if we have more revelations, our life will be more powerful. Let us say, "Look, Lord, isn't my way dangerous? Direct me to the eternal way." We really can quite easily get away from the narrow road and come to the wide road, which is much more easier. But to follow the narrow road means to squeeze, to scramble, to break through, to make efforts. Paul said that he was dying every day, so great pressure was upon him. When Yeshua prayed, his sweat was mixed with the blood because the capillaries were destroying in him. Today, just the same efforts have to make those who love God, as it's not enough to recognize that God exists. So, loving God is the first property. The second property is to be called according to God's will and for His purpose. Nobody can appoint oneself to be the apostle, but God chooses this team Himself and names someone as an apostle. That means a messenger or an angel. It's just the same meaning. You are my angel. To the angel of the church in Ephesus, write. To the angel of the church in Laodicea, write. They are people, aren't they? The people to whom God gave His authority as they are called according to His will. Our calling is like the shoulder straps. Someone may be called to be a giver. Someone may be called to be a helper. Others are called to be evangelists or pastors. But there won't be only pastors on the earth. More and more pastors have appeared during these last 22 years. And where are apostles? We are feeling jealous about the apostles' gift. And where are the prophets? We have felt jealous about the prophet's gift from the living God till 1998. Our jealousy was great. We were screaming and shouting in the fast and prayers for many hours marathon. We asked God to give us a prophet and to anoint ourselves to be prophets, for we were jealous about restoring the prophecy gift in the body of Yeshua HaMashiach. And now we say that we need apostles as well as the messengers with the God's authority, and that they prohibit on earth will be prohibited in heaven, and what they permit on earth will be permitted in heaven. We say to this mountain to move to the sea, and it will be so. We say to the volcano to awake, and it hears our voice and wakes up. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Why? It is necessary for people. They are willing to become free, for they are growing and suffering under Satan's authority now. They can't become free themselves, even the Pope. They can't. So we know that God works for good with those who love Him, whom He has called according to His purpose. That's why all circumstances we are living with has a certain aim, to lead us into such revelations which will be good for nations, peoples, tribes, and languages. So I myself feel jealous to be God's instrument in this last time. Now Romans 8:26. In the same way, the Spirit Ruach HaKodesh also comes to help us, weak as we are. I am not strong at all as well. Ruach HaKodesh helps us. For we do not know how we ought to pray. The Spirit Himself, Ruach HaKodesh, pleads with God for us in groans that words cannot express.